Sup guys, I wasn't kidding when I said I wasn't quite done with the Hypersonic Tower series yet. We've seen some really cool shit, but all that was done in my custom sandbox mode, so let's take it to the Rift and see it in action versus those late game, uber ramped up blimps. Specifically speaking, everyone's favorite Hypersonic Sentry gun engineer. The moment I tested that shit in sandbox mode was the moment I knew I would make a video on it. It didn't hurt that other people suggested I do that as well, like this guy for example. And it actually looked from those pictures like a legitimate late-game strategy, understandable considering the sentry guns will still stay there even after the 10 seconds from the village ability is expired. So yeah, let us begin the experiment. The only limiting factor in getting to late game is finding an opponent competent enough to actually survive that long, even though you can clearly see this is on Bonanza, the ultimate epic late game mode. So you would think, oh, it's guaranteed round 50 plus because everyone has all the money in the world to spare, right? Well, wrong, cause a lot of people seem to use that money on wizards or other shit that isn't very strong in the late game. That and there's another limiting factor which I bet 90% of you wouldn't be able to guess on the spot right now. But anyways, I don't think I would have as big a problem finding someone decent if I was playing my main, because if I do recall correctly, Ninja Kiwi starts by matching a player with similar win ratio to you, and if it takes too long it'll widen the range of values. Too bad there's over 2,000 freaking players in Bonanza mode at any given time, so that's never gonna happen and I'll be forever paired with shitters on this account. Feels bad, man. On the other hand, that does mean easier opponents, and thus easier grinding this week. Feels good, man. I'll take that trade-off, I guess. Now looking back at the game, I wonder why this guy is saying sorry at me. That's the second time he's done it and I'm curious to know the reason. Maybe he's Canadian like me, but I'm not sure that's it. Oh, I know, it probably has something to do with these cobras he just recently placed down. He's got them upgraded to attrition and he's taking away my lives, so he probably thinks he's winning the game, as if the lives would actually make a difference, lol. Well, they would make a difference if this was played 1.5 years ago, back when attrition could actually take your lives down to 0. Remember those days? Those were some dark times, man. Anyways, let's talk about some other shit, because I actually have a few things prepared on my list for today. This one's been on the list for a while. So apparently Ninja Kiwi has a new game in the works, and surprise surprise, it isn't a Bloons related one. Not that they aren't working on anything Bloons related at the moment, but I guess they have their work split between multiple things at once. So what is this game exactly? Is it gonna be another Tower Keepers or Fortress Destroyer? Well, based on what I've seen so far, not necessarily. The game is called Endless Adventure, and according to their Twitter it's gonna be one of those open-world adventure games. Interesting because I don't think they've ever made a game of that genre so far. To be honest, I'm just glad it's got nothing to do with Tower Keepers or Fortress Destroyer. If they made yet another game similar to that, I'd probably flip my shit. I know it's their company and they can make whatever game they want, but seeing how successful their Bloons games are relative to the rest of their games, it'd be a shame not to capitalize on that. I'll leave my thoughts at that, at least until Endless Adventure further develops. If you're curious to see some sneak peeks of it, then I'll link their Twitter in the description. Alright boys, so I got a pretty nice setup so far. 4 engineers in the middle surrounded by around 10 or so villages, all of which I'll be upgrading when the time comes. And that time is now. Safe to say I wasn't expecting a rush so early, but it's Bonanza, so with all this money I've come quite prepared. So let's get these bad boy villages up and let it rip. Plain and simple, I bet the opponent is going like WTF right now, wondering how in the world I was able to spawn so many sentries. Oh no, and the party was just getting started. So remember how I said 90% of you wouldn't be able to guess what the second factor was? Well, if you're part of the 10% who predicted it would be my shitty internet, then congratulations. I picked a really bad day to play these games, to be honest, cause my internet isn't usually this terrible. It was disconnecting for a minute or so every 15 minutes throughout the whole day, leaving zero time for me to fit a lengthy Bloons game in. Like, look how perfect this Bloons circle setup is. I got almost everything ready and my opponent isn't as much of a shitter this time, but nope, it's time to try again. They say third time's a charm, but they also say ISAB will pin your comment if you're early enough, even though I don't, so I wouldn't put too much stock into that saying. So it looks like this kid thinks he's gonna kill me with attrition cobras as well, based on the way he says sorry. If only I could see his reaction when my life counter can't go below 1. Actually, who needs a real reaction? I can already get a sense of what he's feeling based on him selling all those cobras, lol. Anyways, I'm not done with the off-topic shit yet. Next on the list is that custom chat pack thing where I was unsure if I should make one to release to you guys or not. Well, after a bit of rational thinking, I've come to a decision. And that decision is to not release them. Before you raise your pitchforks, let me explain. Unlike Tyler's Diamond Projectiles, which is a one-time download and will work as long as Ninja Kiwi doesn't update the sprite sheet, this custom chat pack requires two things to be changed. The chat pack sheet as well as the data file, which if you didn't know will change after every patch, meaning these custom emotes will no longer work every time the game gets updated. And honestly, I feel that's gonna require too much maintenance from me, because from time to time Ninja Kiwi throws in some undocumented mini updates, such as patch 4.1.1, and that's gonna mean you have to download a new data file every 2 weeks on average, and I have to supply you with it every 2 weeks as well. Sorry if you were looking forward to them, but I think me not releasing them is for the best. I also don't want to get into too much trouble with Ninja Kiwi, lol. If I recall correctly, Tyler got a mini warning for his video on how to get diamond projectiles, so I'd like to avoid trouble there. Okay, this is really grinding my gears, guys. Get it, engineers, gears, haha. Seriously though, I probably should have went to McDonald's to record these games. I'd bet their Wi-Fi is at least more stable than what I'm currently on. Alright, one final attempt before I go. Now's the perfect time for a poll. Will I disconnect in this game or not? Make your comment or vote on the site and below. Again, no cheating please for accuracy reasons. I think it's best to leave it at here, to be honest, but I repeat, this is not the end of the hypersonic towers. I plan to do something more than just showcasing these towers in the late game, so look forward to that. Perhaps they could be something record related, cough cough. Thanks for watching everyone, have a disconnecting day.